Hey, it's JC and welcome to Small Brick City. Today we'll be having a look at a construction site. And besides having a look at the build itself, I'm going to share some of my design philosophies using this build as an example. One of the things that make a Lego city or town great are two things really, and that is the concept and details. In terms of concept, this is a construction site, so it serves a very distinct purpose in the town, and it's also something you're familiar with and is logical to have in a town. So any building or location in your Lego city should have a distinct concept or function. To bring a building or location to life in a Lego city or town, you need to have details. These details include small builds, setting a scene, decorations, minifigs, and accessories. I'll be using this build to show you how I create details for a concept. But first, let me give you an idea of the geography and placement of this construction site. It is currently in my uptown, and it's very near the older part of uptown, really at the edge, where a new apartment block is being built. A construction site is a really useful placeholder to fill up space for builds that you're working on or just to fill up your city. I chose to build this construction site on a half base plate that is 16 studs wide by 32 studs wide. The reason why I didn't go with a full 32 by 32 stud plate was that I didn't want to take up so much space. Not all my buildings may be full 32 by 32 studs area in space. Having this half base plate makes it really easy to move around and insert into different parts of the city. If I wanted to make a bigger construction site, I could add another half base plate and add some construction vehicles or some storage area. But now let's have a look at the details of this construction site. First up is this crane. This is not a full-size crane, but really is more of a portable crane, and it has an operator below. And notice there's actually a camera mounted on the boom arm, and that's so the operator can see exactly what he's lowering down and what's being hooked up. Here we have an I-beam that is being lowered down onto the second floor of this building, and we have 4 different construction workers ready to receive it. There's a supervisor with a walkie-talkie who's talking to the foreman down below. Minifigs are excellent ways to create detail and add life and vibrancy to any set. There are bricks ready to be laid on the second floor, and next to the building we actually have a container stack, which is the storage area as well as the construction office. On the other side, you can see this view which shows the various supplies and bricks and a construction worker at work. And the office is right below, which I'll show you in just a bit. In the foreground, you see the engineer who's having a tough time looking at the building plans. You also see the foreman behind him with the walkie-talkie, and he's looking up at the crane delivering the I-beam to his 4 workers above. Over here we have the crane operator who seems to be a bit stressed out, and in the container office we have the construction site manager who's obviously hard at work. As mentioned, one way to bring any building or location to life is by creating details in terms of setting scenes. I always have many different scenes throughout my Lego city and even in individual builds. These can be static scenes or dynamic scenes. Static scenes are just scenes where you're placing minifigs in everyday situations. Well, for example, just like the construction workers above receiving the I-beam. That's a static scene which is logical in the concept of a construction site. A dynamic scene is something more interesting with some kind of action going on. It looks like you're having a glimpse into the lives of the Lego city as it happens. And I always try to create entertaining dynamic scenes which makes a viewer look at it with interest and even laugh. Here's an example of a dynamic scene that I created for the construction site. Notice the construction worker with the white hard hat. He looks really distressed, and there's a good reason for that, because his colleague has actually sawn off his own hand with the table saw at the workbench. I know the scene is a bit morbid, but it's really entertaining. To round out the construction site, there are a couple more static scenes with construction workers at work oblivious of the accident behind. I hope you enjoyed this build of a construction site and you got some insight into my design philosophy and approach. Like this video and subscribe to this channel, because in the next video I'm going to conduct a giveaway to 2 lucky subscribers. Talk to you soon!